My mother left me completely alone in the freezing snow for a grueling 3 hours. Meanwhile, her new husband stood nearby with a smirk on his face and casually asked me, "So, did you enjoy your little survival course out here in the cold?" I was sitting on a wooden bench outside the main lodge in Breckenridge, watching the snow bury the exact spot where her white Audi had been parked. I held an $8 hot chocolate bought with a crumpled $10 bill she'd shoved into my gloves. She told me to grab a drink from the cafeteria while they loaded the ski gear. I went inside, stood in line, walked back out, and the parking space was empty. There were 5 people in that vehicle: my mother, her husband Warren, his teenage daughters Sienna and Jade, and Warren's sister Renata. I had spent the entire 3 days sitting in the lodge reading paperbacks because my mother hadn't purchased a ski pass for me, while the girls got private snowboarding lessons. When I complained about the freezing temperatures, Renata told me I was ruining the aesthetic of their family getaway. I sat on that icy bench for 40 minutes before a ski patrol supervisor noticed me trembling and brought me inside. He asked for my parents' contact info. He dialed my mother's number 5 times before she finally picked up. The supervisor explained the situation. I couldn't hear what she said, but the man looked at me with deep pity and said she was turning around. It had taken her 3 full hours to realize the back seat was short one person. Renata uploaded a carousel of pictures to Instagram that same afternoon from the drive back. The girls were laughing in the heated leather seats. The caption read, "Mountain memories with my favorite people." I wasn't in a single photograph from the weekend. When my mother walked into the ski patrol office, she looked annoyed. She offered a quick, stiff hug in front of the supervisor and whispered that I should have hurried up. She drove me back to the cabin with the radio blasting. When we walked through the door, Warren was pouring a glass of wine. He smirked and asked if I enjoyed my survival course. No one asked if I was terrified. The subject was instantly dropped. That set the standard. For the next 4 years, I became a ghost haunting my mother's new perfect life. Warren's daughters were the center of the universe. My mother skipped my regional debate championship, the one I had trained 6 months for, because Sienna needed a ride to the mall to buy shoes for a party. When I was 15, Aunt Sylvia arrived unexpectedly at 8:45 p.m. on a Tuesday. She found me sitting on the kitchen floor, eating microwaved soup from a can. I let it slip that this was my normal dinner because my mother made extravagant meals for Warren and his girls at 6 p.m. And since I worked until 8 p.m., the leftovers were always thrown out. Sylvia didn't say a word. She marched into the master bedroom and locked the door. I heard muffled yelling for 45 minutes. When she emerged, her face was pale. She told me to grab my essentials, and I moved into her guest room that exact night. My mother barely protested. 2 weeks later, Sylvia sat me down and explained what she had uncovered. When my mother married Warren, she had quietly liquidated a $35,000 college trust fund my late grandfather had explicitly set up in my name. The money meant for my university tuition had been entirely drained to pay off the massive credit card debt Warren accumulated from his failed landscaping business. Sylvia hired an accountant and filed a civil lawsuit. The legal battle dragged on for 8 brutal months. A judge ordered my mother to repay every cent. Warren filed for divorce the moment his accounts were frozen. He claimed he had no idea where the money came from, but emails proved they had conspired to forge my signature. I am 17 now. I live permanently with Sylvia in a bright townhouse downtown. She makes sure there is always a plate wrapped in foil waiting for me in the fridge. My mother occasionally emails me from a new address. It's always formal and emotionally empty. Last week, she sent a frantic message begging me to write a character reference for her bankruptcy hearing. She said we were still family. I typed out a single sentence and hit send. I told her I couldn't help her because she had left me freezing outside a lodge 3 hours before realizing I existed. She hasn't emailed back. I blocked the address anyway.